Morning. Sunak versus Truss. The final hustings, the final countdown. Does anyone even care? So tonight is the last of the political leadership hustings in the UK, with both Sunak and Truss continuing to vie it out to win popular support within the Conservative Party in order to be elected the new party leader and therefore the new Prime Minister in the United Kingdom. I suppose you can tell by the overall lack of excitement in my voice my own views on this particular situation. And this isn't me coming at it from a opposing political party view, just needless mudslinging from over the fence. Most of my podcast audience know I felt politically homeless most of my life. Most people, I think, in our community are feeling that way right now. But nonetheless, it doesn't change the fact that tonight is the final debate in London. I say debate, I don't know what it even is, just posturing. Just two people posturing to try and win the votes of the Conservative Party members. And we'll come back to that piece because who decides is the big question. And who decides the new Conservative Party leader and therefore the Prime Minister is a very big question that really hasn't got enough attention given the general magnitude of the role when it comes to public life. But I think the lack of attention in one way is a symptom of a deeper problem that I've referred to several times over the last few years, in the sense that we have this growing apathy amongst citizens when it comes to politics, and people kind of see it separate to their own lives, and that it's not their business to get involved, or preferring to choose a simple life and not get entwined in the messy world of politics. And that's a generalization. There are plenty of politically active people, but there's lots of passive observers, and there's lots of people who just walk around with their eyes and minds closed. There's a much larger proportion of people, unfortunately, the latter. But I'm on my way now to the train. I'm heading to London to attend the hustings this evening. Now, normally you are only able to attend these sessions if you are a Conservative Party member. If you hadn't guessed my opening gambit, I'm not. But I have the opportunity to go as a member of the independent media with Elevate Media to cover the event. Now, I can't live stream from within the event itself, but I'll be able to obviously share my reflections. You can watch from home if you choose, if you've got nothing better to do, via the Conservative Party website, I believe. But you can only attend these events if you've been a Conservative Party member since prior to June 2022. So, when all this kicked off, if you decided that you did want to have a vested interest in the future direction of this land, and you wanted to participate in the vote, well, tough luck. Unless you're a party member prior to June, you can't even attend the hustings or vote. Now, on one hand, let's be real. Let's go to Common Sense Corner for a little minute. Due to the ridiculous nature of politics, and the party politics in particular, it would be inevitable that some people, if they could just randomly join the Conservative Party now, would probably infiltrate and just try and scramble the entire process. And I can understand why someone might want to do that, but let's be real, it's probably not that helpful. Unless there's a really material shift in outcome that can be achieved. But nonetheless, how democratic is this process? Well, even if you had been able to join the Conservative Party and therefore vote, because the way this works is the Conservative Party essentially, through the nomination process that we've already gone through to get down to the final two of Sunak and Truss, and then finally this latter stages after the hustings, it's down to the existing paying members of the Conservative Party to decide. But who are those members? That is the big question. And in fact, there's a pending legal case, given the magnitude of this decision. Who are these 160,000 members? Well, firstly, let's just look at the number, 160,000. That's not exactly a major group of people when it comes to the overall population of the UK. And understandably, most of the UK, as we already know, are not politically active. They're not members of parties. In fact, political party membership is deemed to be around 1 to 2% in the UK max. And therein is another problem. You know, it's very easy to say, well, you know, the unelected elites upon far have too much influence over politics. Yeah, what are we doing about it? You know, if we're not, as members of public, even in putting ourselves in a position where we could have influence, then the game is lost before we've even started, and that's really something we've got to start working on. But that's a whole bigger conversation, how to make politics engaging, how to make it personal, how to make it something exciting, how to make it something that can truly make a difference. That's a much bigger conversation, one that I don't have time for in the few minutes I've got before my train arrives. So these 160,000-ish people get to vote, but we don't really know anything about those members. We don't really know anything about that. And what's interesting, in the you know, with a truly transparent and open government that we've got, as we've seen for the last couple of years, by the way, for those who weren't picking up on the sarcasm, that was sarcasm. This is not a transparent and open government, nor do I believe any other governments that would get in power are transparent or open in the UK. There's, again, no alternative. But the Conservative Party are refusing to release any information on the nature of their members. So we know nothing about the demographics. We don't know how it's comprised. And a bit like the fake science we've seen over the last couple of years, and by the way, I don't just say that in jest, there has been genuine protest groups that have submitted fake science to journals, and it's been published to prove a point that science is broken. But the same has happened with the Conservative Party in the build-up to this year's political process. People sent in fake memberships. Someone signed up their dog as a Conservative Party member. Someone signed up as Margaret Thatcher. There's no verification process, yet as long as you join before June as a member of the Conservative Party and paid your £2 or whatever it is, minimum entry, then you get a chance to go to the hustings and vote. You know, you could say that maybe dogs are more intelligent than the human species and they'd be better off putting our hand to the vote in our pets, but let's be serious for a minute. We are putting the fate of the nation in the hands of an unknown group of people. And of course, we don't know how those people are organised, how they're structured, how they're influenced, who really gets to say who the next Prime Minister is. So this distinct lack of openness and transparency really creates an illusion that we have a democratic nation and a democratic process. I think it's probably a done deal, whoever gets decided on Monday. It's going to be announced on Monday the 5th. There are clearly influences upon high, way outside of the political party membership base, which would only likely be outnumbered. You know, the old argument is that we are the people, we are the masses. Well, yeah, that's only true if you actually mobilise people in numbers and actually participate. Whereas if you've only got 160,000 people out of 69 odd million participating, then, well, we're not exactly we are the people, we are the power in that instance. Now, I know what you're thinking. You know, the system's broken. I don't want to join the Conservatives. We need a better alternative. I agree. I entirely agree. But there are short-term things that we have to do in order to affect change. And at the moment, we've got a select group of people determining who will be the next Prime Minister. I'd be interested in the comments. Place your bets who you think it's going to be. Many are suggesting it's already been determined. But the ultimate message here to me is that there's a lot that requires change. Now I mentioned there's a legal case around transparency of the Conservative Party members. I'm serious. I wasn't joking that people have signed up under fake names and put their pets forward in order to get a vote. How many people could do that in order to sway the vote? I don't know. So it's a bit messy. It's a bit messed up, and it's just the tip of the iceberg. So I'm curious to know whether anyone believes that whoever gets selected, Liz Truss or Rishi Sunak, whether anyone believes that they hold solutions to our current problems, or indeed a brighter vision for the United Kingdom. My sense across the board is that most people don't believe that they have solutions nor a bright vision for the future, in the fact that there's a deeper problem in that politics is broken, and we need to rethink about how we govern, how we organise, and how we go about revitalising communities, how we go about overcoming our current challenges, how we go about creating a transparent and open system where people are truly represented, whereby the influences of major corporations and the wealthiest individuals on the planet are curbed in order to create a fair system. But as it stands, the cards are stacked in the favour of the House, and until the game has changed, nothing will change. Yet that's a big old mighty task. It's easy to pay £2 and join a political party and get your vote in, even under the name of your dog if you have to. But it's certainly not easy rethinking about how politics can be constructed, not just in the United Kingdom but around the world, to actually better represent the interests of not only the people, but society at large and the world that we live in and all its inhabitants. So there are big questions, but the good thing is, the wonderful thing is, if you look through history, there are people who take it upon themselves with creativity and ingenuity to think differently about the world they live in and start to explore these big questions. And this is something I think is important for us to embark upon. A lot of people will continue to sit on the sidelines and just throw mud and dirt and look for the bad news and look for the drama. But some of us, just some of us, will come together and think about how could we do this differently. And that's really the purpose of what we're setting out to do over the coming months. We're embarking upon the tour. We're calling it Raise the Nation. Firstly, Raise the Nation on the basis that we've been through some pretty heavy rides recently with everything that's been going on in the world. And secondly, to ask these bigger questions around how we can create profound change. Not only to solve our existing challenges, but to ask the big systemic questions that can make a difference. So watch this space. We've got our first pilot event in Bristol next Tuesday. We'll be announcing the details of that in the coming days. It's a small, intimate gathering, that one, before we get out on the road and put on our show. But for today, keep posted. When I'm in London, I plan to speak to people in London on the streets about their views on the current situation, what their thoughts are around Truss and Sunak, what their thoughts are on the overall process, where things will go from here. And I'll also be sharing my reflections probably tomorrow after the hustings. I think it's finishing at like 9:30, 10, unless there's anything majorly revelatory. I'll probably need some sleep, but we'll see. Good things come to those who wait. So watch this space. Look out for some live footage here on both Facebook and YouTube later today in London. If you're in our community, the Elevate Network, which you can visit at weareelevate.org, we've invited our members who are in London to come and join me for a drink before the hustings. I'll be over near Wembley Stadium, or Wembley Arena, where the hustings are taking place tonight. If you're in the area, you'd like to chat, come and see me. I'll be there from 5 till 6:30, having a drink and a bite to eat and meeting some of our members ahead of going to the hustings, representing independent media via Elevate Media tonight at the political hustings, where Sunak and Truss will have their final quote-unquote debate before it goes to the vote and the new Prime Minister is announced on Monday. So I'll catch you later on. If you're not already a member of the Elevate Network, go to weareelevate.org and you can find out more about how to connect later on today. All right, peace out for now. Thanks for watching.